Hi, good morning friends. So today we are going to discuss about movement along and shift in the long run average cost. So actually we already familiar with the long run average cost curve in my last classes, and now we are going to be dealing with how it will shift and how it will move. And in this particular class we are going to be discuss about what are the external economies of scale and external diseconomies of scale. So those all things will be dealing with this particular class. So let's see. So first we have to understand that what do you mean by long run average cost. The long run average cost is a boundary. We know that it is a boundary line. The curve is a boundary. It represents the minimum level of average cost achievable at any given level of output. It shows that the minimum, the possible minimum cost of production, it is possible to achieve at any given level of output. Any point below the long run average cost curve are unachievable. It is not possible to reduce the cost after that particular boundary. Until that boundary, you can able to reduce the point cost of production. After that, it is not possible. That's what I said that it is unachievable. A firm could produce above the long run average cost curve boundary. It means that the particular firm is inefficient. Actually, there is a boundary line is there. If you are producing any point above that, that means that that particular form is inefficient. It would not use the most efficient method of produce any given level of output. It is not using a most efficient method to produce. That's why their cost is higher. Then here I am going to explain what is a LRAC boundary. So you can able to see it here. The long run average cost curve is the boundary. Isn't it? I already mentioned like last slide. It is a boundary between the level of cost which are achievable and those which are unachievable. You can able to see that this line is a boundary. Okay. Any point above this boundary, you can able to say that this shaded area is attainable. For example, if you want to produce, you can, for example, this particular level of output, you can see that until this much level of output. You can choose point B, or you can produce at point A, or you can produce somewhere point at higher. That is possible. When your cost of production is higher, you will go somewhere here. Did you got the idea? So it is a most possible cost of production is what? The lowest possible cost of production is what? The point B. So here a firm is producing on the LRAS curve. We can able to say that on the long run average cost curve. Sorry, that is my mistake. It is LRAC curve. On the long run average cost curve, then it is producing at the long run minimum cost for any given level of output, such as point B. We can able to say this is the minimum possible minimum cost. Okay. If the long run production is inefficient, the cost will be within the boundary, such as the point A. If you are inefficient, you will be within this boundary area. So example, you are in A means you are inefficient. If you are in B or any point on the production on the long run average cost curve, then we will be say that you are efficient. Clear? Why? Because you are productively efficient. You are producing at the lowest possible cost. Understood? So if you are producing any point above that one, you are productively inefficient. Do you got the idea? Okay. Then we know that movement along the curve. Actually, as like a demand and all those things. For example, we can take a demand curve. When demand curve will move along the curve because of changes in the price, isn't it? The same way, in the long run average cost curve shows the output and cost, isn't it? An increase in the output which leads to fall in the cost, which shows the movement along the curve. For example, output increases, cost falling, that is a movement along the curve. Or output increases, cost increasing, that is also a movement along the curve. Understood? So movement along the curve means because of changes in the cost. Any factor other than cost, for example, we can able to say any factor outside the firm may leads to shift in the LRAC. That is called external factors, isn't it? External economies of scale may or a technological, all those things will be considered as an external economies of scale. That will be leads to a shift in the LRAC. Because of the internal economies of scale, what will happen? The average cost will move along the curve. Because of the external economies of scale, the long run average cost curve will shift. Got the idea? Point is clear. Then shift in the LRAC. The external economies of scale arise when there is a growth in the size of the industry with the firm operates. There are several sources of external economies of scale: development in transportation, improvement in education and training, sharing knowledge and facilities, and improvement in efficiency. These are the reasons for external economies of scale. So, you can able to see that development in transportation, how it will be a result on external economies of scale. The growth in the particular industry in an area might leads to a construction of a better local roads network, and which in turn reduces the cost of individual firms. For example, that particular country or a particular area is developed with some transportation facilities like a road, metro, train, like those kind of stuff. The transportation of the goods will become quicker, so less time is spent on the road and less payment will be made to the drivers of the vehicle. So that what will happen? The average cost curve of the firm will be reducing. So automatically the industry cost will reducing. So LRAC will lead to a shift. Clear? Then another one reason is that improvement in education and training. That is the most important factor. We know that this is a supply side policy. So the same way, skilled laborers might be available in the area. If education and training will become well developed, you can able to get a easily skilled laborers. The firm might experience lower training cost. We can able to say that the people are already trained well, so training cost will be lower for, because the other firms are training workers who it can be then recruit. For example, previously what they will do, they will recruit and they will give a training. That is an additional cost for the business. But now the workers are already trained and skilled. The local government might provide training facilities free of charge, targeted to needs the particular industry, meaning the skilled workers will be available at no cost to the firm, which will be lower the firm's average cost curve. So because of this education and training, what will happen? The company or the industry will be get a cheap labor without any additional cost. So that what will happen? That particular industry's average cost curve will shift down. Shifted down. Okay, cost will reduce, so it will be shifted down. Then we can say that sharing knowledge and facilities. Actually, this is the most important factor nowadays. It's very common. Sharing knowledge means that the benefit from being in the same area and help each others. An example that it could be where the firm is the same area, share the research and development facilities. As the firm on its own, it could not be afford the high cost. For example, research and development, we know that it is the most expensive part of the business. In order to develop an innovative idea or developing a new technology or something, they need a research and development. For that, if one single firm is spending for that, it will become a very high cost and they cannot be tolerate that one. So if it is better, we are sharing the research facilities. For example, together they can able to use them, they can able to adopt the technology or the benefit. At the same time, cost will be shared with others. So that it is just like a risk sharing. The same way, we are just sharing the cost, and that maybe leads to an external economies of scale. The result will be shared with all the firms and each will gain benefit, leading to the lower average cost. The benefit will be the same, but the cost will be the half. So that is better. That will be leads to shift the LRAC down. That is also considered to be an external economies of scale. Then improvement in efficiency. The vocational colleges may be set up in the areas and then can be provide easy access to training and education for the workers. This will increase the efficiency of the workers, and because the average cost will the firm will be a firm in that industry will fall. For example, we can able to say that efficiency will improve. Efficiency, we can able to say that the productivity. It is because of that improvement in the vocational colleges that will provide the training. Okay, training. For example, when I get a properly trained means I will become more productive, isn't it? So that what will happen? My productivity will increase, and that may leads to an efficiency in the industry. That may be leads to shift in the long run average cost curve down. In previous point, we said that the skilled labor's recruitment cost will be discussed. This is because of the efficiency of the labor's increase. What will happen? Cost of production will fall. Clear? That is the difference between that 2 points. Then external economies of scale will shift the long run average cost curve to an individual firm downward. At any given level of output, its cost will be lower because the industry as a whole has grown. All firms in the industry will benefit from the external economies of scale. Not only one firm, all the firms will be benefit from the external economies of scale. Then we are discussing about the technology. It is another one reason for shift in the LRAC curve, long run average cost curve. The LRAC curve is drawn on the assumption that the state of technology remains constant. We know that the state of technology remains constant, then only we can able to draw the curve. The introduction of a new technology which may be more efficient than the old technology will reduce and the average cost and push the LRAC curve downwards. Actually, if a latest technology or innovation or a discovery happen, what will happen? It will shift the cost of production to the lowest. That is also be considered as the reason for a shift in long run average cost curve. We know about the external diseconomies scale. These will shift the long run average cost curve individual firms upward. They occur when an industry expands. You know that when the industry expands, sometimes the average cost of production will shift upward. The individual firms are forced to compete with each other and the price of factor inputs such as wages, raw materials are increased due to this shortage in supply related to demand. Clear. That may leads to increase the average cost of the individual firms and that may leads to shift the LRAC curve upward. It is very clear. I think individual firms are forced to compete each other. When each firms are competing each other, factor inputs such as labors, land, capital, those prices will start increasing because of this competition. So that what will happen in that particular area, labors will be very expensive and land will be very expensive and machineries will be very expensive because of the high competition. That may leads to increasing average cost. That may leads to shift in the LRAC curve of the firm to upward. That will be considered as what external diseconomies scale. I hope you guys will understood. So thank you.